with a stone foundation, you're going to have gaps in the rocks. What they can do on the outside is put a purge coat out and cover all the rocks, prevent water getting in those gaps. Once water gets in the cracks and the gaps, water freezes, it expands, can make the crack bigger or loosen up stones.
Hey folks, welcome back. Cameron Stewart here with eXp Realty in Rome, New York, serving you right here in the Mohawk Valley. I'm here again with Nathan Durant from Durant Inspections out of Verona, New York. How are we doing today, Nathan?
I'm doing very good, Cameron. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. Guys, today we're talking about foundations, okay? What Nathan's looking for when doing an inspection and looking specifically at the foundation. There's a couple different types of foundations and we assess them all differently. Well, Nathan assesses them all differently. So Nathan, please tell us a little bit about the common foundation types that we have here in the Mohawk Valley.
Sure. Three of the most common types I see is a block foundation, a stone foundation, which is an older style foundation. You see them a lot in the 100-year-old houses, and then cement foundations.
Alrighty, and before we even go any further, let's open this can here. I hear a lot from an agent's perspective. Someone goes into an older home and they see the stone foundation and they get really scared. They think because it's old, it's not good. What are your thoughts on that?
Stone foundations can be a very good foundation. I mean, they've been standing for 100 or 200 years. What I look for is to make sure the wall is still straight. And I also look for cracks and stuff like that. But with a stone foundation, you're going to have gaps in the rocks. What they can do on the outside is put a purge coat out and cover all the rocks, prevent water getting in those gaps. Once water gets in the cracks and the gaps, water freezes, it expands, can make the crack bigger or loosen up stones. But I've seen a lot of stone foundations that are perfectly fine. I do recommend having them looked at, but as long as they're standing up straight, like I said, you can protect them from the outside, protect water getting in there, they'll last another 100 years.
All right,
They've been standing for 200. So,
moral of the story, folks, don't be scared about a stone foundation. Just like Nathan said, they've been standing for 100 years now, and if they were done correctly and maintained properly, they can last for another 100 years. So I'm glad you shed some light on that for us, Nathan. Now tell us about the differences between these most common types of foundations and how you assess them.
Sure. So all the foundations I look for on the exterior, the big thing I look for is cracks, whether they're structural cracks or not. But any cracks, obviously, like I said, water can get into, water freezes, expands, makes the crack a little bigger over time. Another thing I look for when I go in the basement, that's where I more see the structural cracks. And I make sure the basement wall is still standing up straight. What we see sometimes is the basement wall, the top of it leaning in. And this is from the pressure of the earth. And what it is a lot of times is there's too much water going in around the foundation, around in the soil, and creating too much pressure on that wall, and it starts to push it in, and that's when you get a crack as well, horizontal crack. Those are the worst to see. There are vertical cracks. Those aren't nearly as, I always recommend a structural engineer anyway, but you don't have to worry about a vertical crack as much as a horizontal crack. So horizontal crack means the wall is literally leaning in enough to crack it.
Yeah, and that goes back to our last video. We talked about pooling water on the, close to the foundation, and just like you alluded to, that hydrostatic pressure, folks. Yep. If you're not familiar with the power of water, right? I mean, check out a dam, right? The Hoover Dam. Water is super powerful, and when it's pulling up next to your foundation, that's a lot of hydrostatic pressure coming in for sure. Awesome. So, another thing that I get a lot from an agent's perspective is we go into a basement and it's generally an old stone foundation. and it's a dirt floor. What are your thoughts on dirt floors?
Um, Dirt floors are perfectly fine. I mean, I wouldn't recommend putting a washer or dryer down there. If there's your furnace down there or a water heater, recommend blocking it up. Dirt floors, it can um, allow more radon to come in, which comes from the earth versus a cement floor. Seals it out a little better. Um, but and it does create a little more moisture in the basement. But they're perfectly fine. I mean, even a cement floor, it's not a structural aspect. It's not holding up the foundation wall. So, I mean, the dirt floor is just as good as a cement floor, except for like I said, the moisture issues, and it does increase the chances of having radon in your basement. There's no way to seal it out.
Got it, got it. And folks, we'll be going into further detail about radon in another video because that's a big thing here in central New York, Mohawk Valley, and it's something that you definitely want to consider when purchasing a home. So we're gonna deep dive on a video later. So stay tuned for that. So Nathan, tell people how to get a hold of you if they have some questions about their basement or foundation, and they possibly want an inspection.
Sure. They can call or text me at 315-263-3693. Shoot me an email at nathan@duranthomeinspections.com or reach us through our website, www.duranthomeinspections.com.
Awesome. Nathan, thanks for joining me once again today. I appreciate it. And folks, stay tuned for future videos. We're going to be sitting down with Nathan a lot more often and getting his expert advice on home inspection and how we can be more proactive about our real estate transactions here in the Mohawk Valley. So thanks once again, Nathan. I appreciate it. And for those of you watching at home, we look forward to speaking with you guys soon.